everyone, and I say that respectfully. Today is currently November 10th, 2025, and it's currently 10:15 p.m. My content is not for everyone. No, the trade off me, god darn it. My content, everybody knows. Okay, no, the trade off of me. It's not. They said sky's the limit, but hold on 1 second. They will never understand that you was never seeking revenge besides being a truth teller at the end of the day. That bothered their mental because hold on 1 second, you truly keeping it real. You truly have potential. They try to discourage you, throw spoke in a toxic way, all because you wasn't competing with what someone's one-sided opinion. Hold on 1 second, misery loves company. They tried to disturb your peace when you wasn't trying to catch a case. Running for your past, hold on 1 second, that was not part of your journey at the end of the day. They would never understand he say, she say, yeah, they could talk whatever they want to talk at the end of the day, but you wasn't running from God's truth when it come to hold on 1 second, being a truth teller the most healthiest way. Even when folks try to kick you down, discourage you, they say that your elevator ain't working, but God truly shows you pretend you being authentic. What actually got folks said and spoken in a toxic way, sending you the evil lie, all because hold on 1 second, your steps is already ordered. Loving yourself, not to dim your light. Don't get discouraged because someone didn't know how to respect you. I ain't gotta sleep with you at the end of the day. It be the train of thought for me. I know how to put respect on my neighbor's name at the end of the day, even when they take my kindness or weakness. It be the train of thought for me. How folks will try to provoke you at the end, they deny they tags break with their bad habits, all because hold on 1 second, they wanted to dim you like because they understand their own potential going within. It didn't matter if you was an addict at the end of the day, or that narcotic sell at the end of the day, or that judge, hold on 1 second, that they have to meet that carpenter. And I say it respectfully, because someone on a job site or someone that you don't even have to know at the end of the day, they don't have to respect you. Hold on 1 second, but hold on 1 second. That wasn't true. You ain't gotta sleep with someone to respect them. Y'all don't gotta live in the same household, let alone have the same body language at the end of the day when it comes to your mental. Being mature, that energy is different. You're gonna come across folks in different types of walks of life at the end of the day, but someone truly knows how to respect you. It's a train of thought for me. How folks would try to ruin your reputation all because you wasn't seeking revenge besides being a truth teller because someone wanted to take your kindness or weakness. They wanted to dim your light when it come to your glow. So they got to throw spoke in a toxic way to make the film, hold on 1 second, emotionally available when it comes to actually realizing they wasn't intelligent. Because at the end of the day, you could pour into yourself with that same energy. It'd be the train of thought when it come to hate train. Because hold on 1 second. Someone doesn't want you to choose yourself to go within. My content is not for everyone. It's not. Poetry, my swag. No, you have to change me. All be yourself and no business because my content about us. Okay. It's not. Peace and respect your neighbor. Stop the violence. Peace and respect your neighbor. Stop the violence. I said what I said. Stop the violence. Hi to the genuine ones with no misintentions. Hi. Be yourself. Don't dim your light, neighbor. Be yourself. Don't dim your light, neighbor. They would try to just throw smoke in a toxic way. But hold on 1 second. Your vocabulary is different. G-O-D got your back. You matter, you worthy. Don't give up on you. Gotta go. Stop the violence. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everyone. It's not. To the genuine ones with no misintentions, I truly hope all is well on your end. And I say that respectfully. Always be yourself when someone says you don't have potential. Loving yourself is not a crime. And it's not a crime to be authentic. And it's not a crime to put respect on your neighbor's name. Good day, bad day, or misunderstand day. Even when they don't understand, hold on 1 second. We all don't operate the same when it comes to motivation. Elevation is different when it comes to God's key. Hold on 1 second. I understood God's ignition. When God spent the block and they said God wasn't real. Even when they didn't have to keep it real at the end of the day. But I wasn't seeking revenge because I was really trying to heal. Slow process. Steady. Strength is different. You wasn't part of someone's rape when they didn't have malicious intentions. They did have malicious intentions, didn't they? They wanted to paint the picture at the end of the day that they actually had your back when they was never rooting for you because they couldn't wait for you to be a crash out. It'd be the train of thought for me. How you actually woke, they want you to be asleep. They want to rob you mentally, spiritually, financially. At the end of the day, it didn't matter if it was that coven, that reader, when it comes to that karmic, hold on 1 second, the pretender. The person in the background at the end of the day that's paying for likes if he's a clout chasing the fame. It'd be the train of thought for me. Let's talk about that right there. G-O-D hits different. Don't dim your light, neighbor, you till you paying attention. You did it for likes and views and clout chasing the fame. Our universe is damn sure it ain't the same. Yeah, I ain't from here at the end of the day. Cause I knew how to respect my neighbor even when you couldn't see. Hold on 1 second, even when you was trying to seek revenge. I was a truth teller and I ain't running from that. Hold on 1 second, it's gonna bother your mental when it come to growth. Hold on 1 second. Our tax bracket didn't have to hit the same. But how it stood, hold on 1 second, elevation gonna be the same. I truly hope that one day that you progress and become your best self vision of yourself. I ain't got to dibble and dabble with spoke at the toxic way. Hold on 1 second, let alone send an evil lie, let alone create a hate train. It be the train of thought for me. I never understood this mental health shit at the end of the day. And I don't mean no disrespect when it comes to my elders, because I know how to respect them. And I say that respectfully. You ain't got nothing nice to say at the end, they don't say nothing at all. It be the train of thought from you in your own world at the end of the day. They would never understand you was just on the phone. You know, mind your business when it comes to your earplugs at the end of the day. It be the train of thought from when they said your elevator don't work. Hold on 1 second, you was on a different page. You know, everybody's not high vibration. And certain folks got a lot to pay attention. You know, because they want you to be on a flow at the end of the day. If it don't go their way, it's the highway at the end of the day. They rather ruin your reputation when it was never a joke. Who would have knew? Because unconditional love allows you to feel why you chose you. You know, it may not make sense to the average person. But I never understood this. You know, I never understood when someone decides to go outside. How are you doing spoke on someone when someone decides to go mind a business, or someone decides to go pay a bill, or someone decides to go see a loved one, or someone decides to say, you know what, I'm going to check on my neighbor today, or you know what, I'm going to send someone food today. You know what, I'm going to help my neighbor the most healthiest way when they least expect it. I never understood when you go out your house door, whatever the case may be, or wherever you at from point A to Z. I never understood that someone thinks they're doing spell work on you because you decide to say, you know what, I want fresh air today. Make it make sense at the end of the day. It be the train of thought for me when you actually understood that. Hold on 1 second. Someone's trying to make you feel like you're supposed to catch a case. You know, when you don't run from your past, that energy is different. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everyone. You know, no mother or father or family member should lose a child due to someone's lack of self-control or discipline or insecurity, or because someone wants to create a hate train and throw spoke at someone. Good day, bad day, and misunderstanding. It be the train of thought for me. I said it out loud. Devil, 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 devil. Hold on 1 second. Did it have to be you? But you showed at the end of the day how you was dishing your cards out. Only was the hold on 1 second. You was wondering. You was so worried about my whereabouts. You had this person, that addict, that sex worker at the end of the day, that neighbor, that mad they tags back and watch me like a bad habit. You would have swapping down. They was addicts. It'd be the train of thought for me. Because hold on 1 second. Why are you so dysfunctional when it comes to your lack of self-control? But you say that you're so real. But hold on 1 second. I need attention because I was far from crying at the end of the day because I was sleep emotionally available. You know, hold on 1 second. You know, it doesn't matter if you was an addict, a seller, when it comes to that mentality. When you on the corner, and I don't mean no disrespect, it didn't matter your position at the end of the day. If someone is trying to rob you, are you wrong for having the mindset at the end of the day of being aware? And even when folks is plotting against you, you dead ass wrong for hold on 1 second. Nah, I see you, shorty. I see you, homeboy. Why you plotting against me? I ain't gotta know you. Until it's your story at the end of the day. You say ain't nobody will ever step to you like that, but hold on 1 second. It's someone with a mindset that don't give a F about you at the end of the day. It be the trend of thought. You know that fight? You go think you could beat everybody's gonna become that one person that will come up to you and size you up and realize, hold on 1 second. Now you got that one. It was a win for a win at the end of the day because it was a fair one because you never stopped fighting back. You know why? Because you said that you could beat everybody. But it was that one person that you realized to hold on 1 second. You got that one, fam. Maybe it's trying to throw for me. You walked away with faith. You walked away with your life. You walked away with knowing at the end of the day you had to change your mindset when it come to maturing after your body way. You know, when you pray for your child, you know, you pray and tell them that the devil and the enemy comes in different shapes and forms. You know, everybody's household ain't the same when it comes to, hold on 1 second, playing with witchcraft, voodoo, spell work in a toxic way. It be the train of thought for me. It goes beyond at the end of the day. How folks would rob you mentally, spiritually, financially. Even project spell work on you. Or even rob you to make you homeless. And even paint people to make you seem at the end of the day that you're not who you say you are. You know, especially when you're that a person that doesn't run from your past and you don't run from that he say, she say. You know, even when they lie on you. I know what I say, God darn it, what's wrong with you? It'd be the train of thought for me. How folks don't want you to choose you. You know, this type of stuff actually happens. And they say that your voice doesn't matter and they paint you to be mentally unstable and your truth teller. You know, I would never hurt myself regardless to what man or woman or child is threatening my life at the end of the day. And I say that respectfully. My content is not for everyone. I am still healing from a hate crime, and I do not live in fear, and I walk these streets alone. And I say that respectfully. I never knew it was a crime to be authentic, and especially in your own household. You got to be monitoring what you say out your mouth at the end of the day when you're walking from A Avenue, B Avenue, C Avenue. That 1, 2, 3, hold on a second, that train was real. When it came to the express, they would never understand you was far from mentally unstable. You was just being patient with time and day. You got folks that been plotting on you for months at a time. At the end, they just to rob you, to make sure you don't elevate. And then when you speak up for yourself, they said that you're a bitch. I can't stand you, but I know how to respect my neighbor. I can't stand you, but I know how to respect my neighbor. I can't stand that bitch, but I know how to respect my neighbor. It's a train of thought for me. You know, my content is not for everyone, regardless who's trying to ruin my reputation, regardless who's projecting spoiled towards me at the end of the day. Always be yourself, especially to the genuine ones with no malicious intentions. Always be yourself. Entertainment purpose only. No, entertainment on me. Entertainment purpose only. No, entertainment on me. You ever been minding your business? No. Hold on one second. You ever had that one family member that calls you up? Hey, what's going on? What you doing today? You know them bougie ass fools that they don't take transportation when it comes to the subway or whatever case may be. They like, what up, pig head? What you doing today? I got something to tell you. What happened? You know, I thought you'd be going from point A to Z, you know, state to state and motion to motion. Why are you bothering me? I thought you was paying attention. No, it's a train over me. This fool decides to call you and say, you want to ride with me? Ride with you where? On what train? It's the train over me. Hell no, your old ass. You know, certain individuals will curse you out, but then be like, hey, it's the train over me. No. This fool calls you up and say, you know what? I need you to show me the proper tools as a school to me at the end of the day when it comes to these streets, because I ain't been on the train in years. It's a train on me. I got lost already. You sound real personal right now, you know, and that's not my issue, but you need a tissue. Not the train on me. This fool decided to say, you know, these motherfuckers just repo my car. Oh, but you telling me I need to get my life together? No, it's the train. I can't stand family members like that, you son of a bitch. What's wrong with you? How you telling me to get my life together, but yours ain't right ever? You ain't too clever. It's the train of thought for me. I can't stand them family members today that preach. You know, when I was your age. Shut your stupid ass up. It's the train over me. I don't want to hear that shit. No, for real. How many times you have been in an unhealthy relationship and who caused the effect? You. That job that you said that you was maintaining for over 20, 30, 40 years, how many people have you had bullied and played sport and did all types of weird shit? You. That ain't got nothing to do with me at the end of the day, and I don't want to be like you at all, you son of a weird son of a bitch. Let alone, how many people that you done had dated at the end of the day said that you was the problem? But you trying to school me in the love department, not gonna happen. And you trying to school me when it comes to financial stability, not gonna happen. It's the trait of it, and you trying to school me where? Well, I'm older. I'm elderly. That sounds real personally. It's the trait of it. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You know, my content is not for everyone. And that's okay. Always be yourself, but no intentions. Entertainment purposes only. No, it's a trait of me. You know, it doesn't matter if you're from a big city or not, but when you take transportation by accident or you take transportation or whatever the case may be, hold on 1 second. I gotta go a different route. No, it's a traitor told me. First of all, with your simple having ass. First of all, how you get on a train, on a bus, or whatever the case may be? First of all, the seat is, you know, it's shaped a certain kind of way. For one person, one seat. It's a train off me. It should be no reason why your ass and your body at the end of the day is sitting on me. And at the end of the day, you don't realize to say sorry. And then when I look at you, within looking at you, it's your problem. It's a train off. It's too early for this weird shit. No, for real. You ever got on the train or the bus or case may be, that one particular fool know what the train thought of me. This fool gets on a bus or the train or whatever the case may be. They want to push. They want to throw their head towards you. Oh, you just scratched me with your wig, you weird ass. First of all, I wasn't looking for that scent today. No, what is that you wearing? That shit smell bad, ho. No, the change though. I guess you walked up on the wrong side of the goddamn bed. We gonna give you a pass for the day, but don't do that shit again. No, the trait of me. It's one thing when you do something one time, but don't keep doing that shit at the end of the day. It's a trait of me. This fool decides to. They supposed to be in their chair, but they moving all the goddamn round. Stay still. It's a trick over me. Why are you throwing balls right to left at the end of the day? Fixing your hair, doing your mascara, all type. First of all, this is not the beauty parlor. We understand you may be late or whatever the case may be, but that sounds real personal. You heard me, you weird ass. I am. You know, some people don't understand at the end of the day, everybody's body is not built the same. You can come across somebody that may have a cut. You may come across somebody that has body pain at the end of the day. And you sitting your ass down a certain kind of way, and someone's already in the chair and you're hurting them. You're applying pressure on them, on an open wound, or a wound that's healing still. Or at the end of the day, everybody has a good day and everybody has a bad day. But you caught someone on a bad day, but they still know how to respect you. It be individuals at the end of the day that will look for a reaction just out of you. And I say that respectfully. You know, my content is not for everybody, regardless of your culture, your religion, your sexual orientation, your disability, or your age. My content is not for everyone. You know, no mother or father should lose a child. And I say that respectfully. They said, what do I know about that? You know, pain is different. Being emotionally available, and especially when you got other kids at the end of the day, it feels you're losing yourself. But when you pray for your baby, you want them to be safe, going from point A to Z. Even if you didn't have that mother and father in your life, or they didn't give you the proper tools, you knew how to show up for your baby. Even if you had misunderstanding days in your chapter, you said, hold on one second. I take a vow to myself to love my baby. I ain't gotta pretend. You know, when the world's against your child, at the end of the day, they would never understand that, hold on one second. Yeah, I talk that talk, but I'm a teddy bear within. I love my children emotionally available, but at the end of the day, that's going to be misunderstood by the world that can't relate to my pain. I was willing to overcome to actually heal the brother. Hold on one second. I was far from weak when I actually understood my child's tears. You know, that energy is different. You know, it didn't matter that bully or that manager that disrespected your child that day, because this type of stuff actually happens when they come in the real world. They be the train of thought for me. You ever had your child calling you at the end of the day, telling you about a management company, or telling you about this person, that person, this person, that person, this person, that person? Only because, hold on one second, they wasn't your friend, that was your baby. That was your child. That's your child. You know, a mother and father want to protect their baby from that unhealthy relationship, regardless the end of the day, if it was, you know, someone actually be on the same page, emotionally available, or just a friend at the end of the day, or an associate. You know, you can show your child the proper tools, but they got to learn on their own. And only was the hold on one second, they got the right people to go into they got the right people right in front of them when they go into the right arms, instead of causing confusion. You know, the energy is different because you was truly a blessing. You know, you ever had someone call you a bastard? You ain't worthy, or BITCH, or whatever the case may be, you know, because everybody has their own definition when it comes to vocabulary words. It be the train of thought for me, or their own little slang at the end of the day. But you didn't have to pretend to love your baby even when the world was against you and they said that you couldn't go within. They already paying you to be a crash out, a number. But who would have knew being dysfunctional was a part of your vocabulary, because you understood growth hits different, and you still being patient with time and day when it come to true healing. You probably didn't have your moms and pops say, I love you, or I got your back. At the end of the day, it was chapters in your life that, hold on one second, they didn't show up for you, but who would have knew that you'd be standing before yourself today to realize the hold on one second, you got a little you. You know, I may not make sense to the average person, and that's okay. But no mother or father should be stripped away from their child because someone wants to project a hate crime. or if someone wants to rob them mentally, spiritually, or financially, or if someone wants to project sport towards somebody, or if someone wants to send someone an evil lie, or if someone wants to create someone a hate train, or if someone wants to make your baby homeless because of jealousy and envy. You know, it didn't matter if you and your baby mother or your wife is in a single household or not, or you came from a single household or not at the end of the day, or you came from poverty and pain. It's not right for someone to project on you for you to lose your child. And especially for someone to throw spell work or poison your child's food or their narcotics or their drink. It didn't matter if it was juice or water. It'd be the center thought for me. You should never have to lose a child that way. Good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. Or because someone had hate. Someone said, I'm healing, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. But they got so much energy, so much time and day to send someone's vocabulary to be dim, to throw spell work, to monitor their every move when it comes to gang stalking. But you just said that you had peace with yourself. But you're plotting ways to try to rob somebody mentally, spiritually, financially, and try to humble somebody because you don't want someone to prosper in life. You want someone to be in a mindset of being delusional. So when they speak up for themselves, you can point the finger and say they're crazy. You know, that's the enemy at the end of the day. And no mother or father should have to wait for a phone call at the end of the day because someone lacks self-control when it comes to discipline or whoever your guardian is. And I say that respectfully because everybody's guardian is not the same. Everybody's guardian does not pour into them. Because a mother and father or a guardian, regardless if you're blood related or not, they see you, they hear you, and they respect you with no malicious intentions. They're not getting people to beat you up or rob you mentally, spiritually, or financially, or try to make you homeless, or try to paint you out to be crazy, slow, stupid, and retarded. It'd be the center thought for me. You know, my content is everybody. You know, no mother or father should lose a child because someone lacks self-control. You know, no mother or father should have their child stripped away from them, regardless they came from poverty and pain. They knew how to love their baby. They knew how to pray for their baby. They knew how to protect their baby. They knew how to provide for their baby. And they still praying for their baby to come home safe to them. You know, because the devil and the enemy came in different disguises to cause someone confusion. The devil and the enemy told so many lies to try to ruin someone's reputation. They said that you was an unfit mother and father. They said that you wasn't worthy of yourself. They said at the end of the day, they didn't like you. They wanted the energy harvest off your baby's energy. They wanted to project sport towards your baby. They want you to be in a mindset and not being able to protect your child. How this type of stuff actually happens. You know, my content is not for everyone, and that's okay. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions and the same purpose only. No, it's a change on me, god darn it. It's the same purpose only. I'm Naya, to respect to my cousin and everybody else. Okay, it's currently 10:38 p.m. and I said what I said respectfully. It's currently November 10th, 2005. When it comes to my creativity, regardless to what man, woman, or child is trying to blackmail me against me, I work alone with my creativity. Nobody gives me my ideas besides my Heavenly Mother, my Heavenly Father, God, and I say that respectfully. And say purpose only. Now, it's a shade on me. You ever had that one family member or friend that call you, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hey! You know, they decide to change their life or whatever the case may be. That's fine. You know, you ever went over to somebody's house, they came over to your house, whatever the case may be? They start telling you about your nutritions in your fridge and what you like and what you shouldn't have in your fridge. Oh, you know, I didn't sign up for your dietary commission. No, it's the trade gonna be stupid. No, for real. You know, when someone start to change their life and start to lose weight, or the case may be, they want to tell you about you. Continue to pour into you and love you and understand that they stay your one weird ass. You know, because everything ain't for everybody. No, if the trade off me. You know, they decided to say, you know what? You eating salad, but you got chicken, you got fish, you got this, you got that. First of all, it's for my digestive system and not your potential when it comes to your mental health. Hello. No, the trade don't mean. I never understood this shit at the end of the day. A fool would reach out to you at the end of the day to try to cause confusion in your life. They be like, you know what, let's go out to dinner. You ever pray before going somewhere and just ask God to, just take over the wheel? No, that shake off me. I don't want the devil. No, shake off me. So you got to your destination or whatever the case may be. It's one of those spots where you would never go to. No, it's the trade off me, but the beverages was pretty decent. No, and the train thought of me. Not no alcohol or beverage either. You know what I'm saying? The fruit drinks was pretty decent. But the menu, I couldn't get jiggy with it. No, I'm a support the people at the end of the day when you start to change your life or whatever the case may be. But please do not put me when it comes to your one-sided conversation. I was not trying to shortchange myself when it comes to my digestive system. I swear I wasn't. I want to be full when I leave here, dummy. No other change over me. What's wrong with you? No, for if we're going to go out, let's go out and have a good goddamn time. Hello, make the belly make sense. And let me make sure I bring some food home too. Hello. I'm Naya, Genio Love Respect. I may not be entertaining to you, and that's okay. But it's always someone else that can entertain you. Love on yourself, instead of sending spoke or the evil eye. And I say that respectfully. Don't bring your blood pressure up at the end of the day because you don't like someone for your own personal reasons. You don't like someone at the end of the day when you don't got to sleep with them. But it's called respect to stay in your lane, neighbor. Didn't matter your tax bracket, let alone your weight when it comes to your age. And I say that respectfully. Out here acting your shoe size when it comes to lack of self-control. Talking about you real at the end of the day, but you lost control. You lost control of the narrative at the end of the day. Like, damn, it wasn't a joke when I actually was trying to test the child of God. That's how you actually was. Hold on 1 second. You had to pretend to realize you're stressing yourself out. How you go up against a child of God at the end of the day when you out here praying to the devil every single day. You behind closed doors, dipping, trying to dim somebody's light, playing with spoke in a toxic way, trying to dim somebody's light when it come to their potential, or because you was your own issue. When it come to hold on 1 second, you forgot the hell to understand self-control actually started with them when it comes to unconditional love. You was facing your own reality with your own match that you couldn't face at the end of the day to truly go with them. You know what I mean? That makes sense to the average person. But that's okay. My content is not for everyone. Never give up on yourself because someone says you don't have potential. Never give up on yourself because someone did not love you, respect you, or meet you halfway. You poured into the wrong cup. I don't push God on nobody, so my content is not for everyone. When God comes into your life, God sends the right people into your life. They're far from haters. They don't look at you like competition, regardless of your tax bracket, regardless if you came from poverty and pain. They're actually praying for not against you. They act in their body weight when it comes to maturing. That drum board hits different when it comes to God's plan. Someone wasn't acting their shoe size. They wasn't running from their past. The energy is different because the devil was telling so many lies. Even when it came to the he say, she said, at the end of the day, like, damn, when is it going to stop? Because folks got to gather hate train to actually feel hold on 1 second. They got a strength bone. All because hold on 1 second, they didn't understand their own mental health. When it come to hold on 1 second, how you do yourself wrong. You had to gather a hate train with over 10, 20 people at the end of the day to make yourself feel validated like you got a voice at the end of the day when you can stand on your 2 feet to rather hold on 1 second. Don't make yourself uncomfortable when it comes to choosing yourself. That's how the enemy feels at the end of the day. The lack of self-control, all because you wasn't competing. They try to antagonize you to ruin your reputation, but when the right people walk into your life, they truly pour into you. Even when, hold on 1 second, your jokes may be corny, but who would have knew you was far from boring? No, you're the shade on over yourself, no intentions. When God sends right people into your life, they see you, they hear you, and they respect you. And I say that respectfully. My content is not for everyone. Gang stalking is real to your household, and you're not doing it for likes and views or clout chasing or fame at the end of the day. Individuals will monitor your every move. They will hack your devices, your accounts, your emails. They would use your documentation to try to blackmail you, to rob you mentally, spiritually, financially at the end of the day. You don't have to know somebody for them to gang stalk you. And it doesn't matter their age range either at the end of the day. Because it could be a child participating. It could be a pregnant person participating. It could be an addict, a sex worker, man or woman at the end of the day. It could be an elderly person as well too. It doesn't matter if someone's an addict or not at the end of the day. As long as someone is willing to participate when it comes to a gift card or making sure at the end of the day, they project fear in you. Never stop choosing you, and I say that respectfully. They would even dig up your past to try to humiliate you when it was part of someone's one-sided contract. How folks would say they know you at the end of the day, but they never had a conversation with you. But they will blackmail you when it comes to certain conversations, like they will plot scenes or whatever the case may be, just to get a voice out of you. Like, thank you, no thank you. Even try to antagonize you just to say at the end of the day, you're not who you say you are at the end of the day when you knew how to respect your neighbor. My content is not for everyone. It's not. And that's okay. When it comes to gang stalking, they hack your emails, your accounts, they monitor your every move, they monitor your mail, your packages. They would even act like you got them at the end of the day. They would even paint conversations as you was part of when you was never there at the end of the day. They would even send people spell work so folks won't come towards you. They would even pay people to stay away from you. They would try to rob you mentally, spiritually, financially at the end of the day. Even send you spell work, good day, bad day, and misunderstanding day. You know, it's not a crime for someone to go and get fresh air when they leave out their door, regardless to what zip code, county, or country they in at the end of the day. I never understood this. When someone leaves out their household, how is that you doing sport on somebody at the end of the day? Like, make it make sense. Someone decided to say, I'm going to take the trash out. You mean you doing spoke on somebody because they said that they're going to take out the trash out their own crib or their own job site? It'd be the train of thought for me. Or someone decides to go meet their loved one somewhere at the end of the day. So you said, see? So that means that's gang stalking if you're projecting on somebody. And I said it respectfully. My content is not for everyone. And I may not make sense to the average person, but that's okay. But it just goes to show at the end of the day how someone's mental health is really bothering them because they trying to ruin you. When it comes to my creativity, I work alone and my content is not for everyone. I love to talk about love. Love is real, love is one of a kind, with the right one surely for you. That energy is different. It was more so I'm in love, but I'm talking about it. The energy is different when it come to communicating, going with them, being in love with yourself. They would never understand that. Hold on 1 second. You wasn't seeking revenge when the devil tried to stop you. They said that you wasn't going to elevate to become your best self vision of yourself, but God said yes when it came to that testimony. Go on with them. Someone brought balance in your life. They didn't have to pretend. Someone truly showed you wasn't competition when it come to motivation. Someone truly protecting your heart. Who would have knew that someone didn't have to fumble you on your rainy day? Someone praying for you when you couldn't see. When the world's against you at the end of the day. The love of your life was your biggest cheerleader up close and personal behind closed doors. That ain't just different. When someone knew how to fulfill shoes, that vocabulary actually hits different. Someone truly choosing you. Someone didn't have to switch up. It just got better with time and day. A vocabulary when it comes to a testimony. Someone seeing you. Hold on 1 second. You believe in your faith when it comes to your boundaries. How God was truly allowing you to see why the sun was truly shining at the end of the day. Because you were a miracle when you almost lost yourself. You were a miracle when you thought that you was going to give up on yourself. You were a miracle. So thankful at the end of the day. I stand before myself today to hold my own weight. Who would have knew? I wasn't talking about narcotics when they tried to abuse me. Mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. You chose you to overcome that storm. Still being patient with time and day because folks are still, projecting on you. But when God sends the right person to your life, the energy is different. Who would have knew that your prayer became your dream come true? What a miracle. They say fairy tales ain't real, but that growth is different when you actually do the proper healing. That footwork can't nobody actually fulfill. Even when they try to destiny swipe, it's going to be an epic fail because hold on 1 second, it's only one you that be authentic because it started within, not on the outside. It be a train of thought for me. The beauty within you, the confidence, the tools that God endowed within you. That motivation hits different even when folks didn't know how to love you, respect you, protect you. They rejected you for all the wrong reasons, but who would have knew that God was protecting your mental? You wasn't running from your past, taking account for your actions. Even when they lied on your name, you didn't have to pretend to be authentic. Speaking up for yourself, being a truth teller, everybody would never understand, but they got to project on you, all because you understood your weather. True love is not blindsided. And I say this respectfully. I don't mean no disrespect because when someone sees you, hears you, respect you, they actually walk in the path at the end of the day, not to ruin you. Make you feel at the end of the day that you're not worthy because someone knew how to show up for you. It wasn't lack of love. It was real love, loyalty, genuine and kind. Not only you was just fine at the end of the day, but you was book smart, street smart, all above. And I say that most healthiest way. You ain't have to dibble and dabble with spell work in a toxic way. Let alone send someone an evil lie because you had your own gifts when it come to motivation. Even when folks try to seek revenge, all because hold on 1 second, you knew how to love yourself the healthy way. You're gonna have chicks and dudes not understand you. All because you didn't have to pretend when God was dancing with you. And I said in the most healthiest way, and I said it respectfully. All because you was willing to choose your faith. You walk by faith, not by sight. Far from pretending when God was showing you your vision. When the right person walks into your life, They're your biggest cheerleader, up close person behind closed doors. You gain the love of a best friend, a business partner. Everybody's walk of life ain't the same. But when the right person walks into your life, they see you, they hear you, they respect you. They ain't trying to switch up on you, and I say it respectfully. Being emotionally intelligent, they wasn't trying to manipulate you. It wasn't lust in a toxic way. It wasn't spoken to get your time and day. Someone prayed for you like as well as you prayed for them. In a chapter, who would have knew it wasn't competition when someone chose you to say I love you. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everyone. And I say that respectfully. Whoop. Peace and respect to neighbor. Stop the violence. Hi to the genuine. Oh, the heart. I probably catfish person anyway. Ha! Whoever that is, whatever. Hi to the genuine ones. You are my sunshine. What a blessing. Never overlook yourself when the devil try to stop you. You matter, you're worthy. G.O.D. got your back. Stop the violence. It's currently November 10th, 2025, and it's currently 10:51. And always be yourself with no resistance. We far from haters, and we ain't no copycats. Love yourself. You know, people pick and choose who could talk about God, spirituality, healing, who could talk about narcotics, who could talk about tarot reading, or who can talk about choosing yourself. People pick and choose who could talk about certain topics. People pick and choose who could talk about that franchise. People pick and choose who could talk about that customer service. People pick and choose. That does not mean stop loving you because someone overlooked you. I would never hurt myself regardless of what man or woman is threatening my life or child, and I say that respectfully. I walk these streets alone. I don't live in fear, and I would never hurt myself, regardless of trying to rob me mentally, spiritually, financially, or project sport towards me at the end of the day. I put everything in my Heavenly Mother Father God's hands. You know, individuals be like, where's your God at now? Because they're plotting against you. You know, they laugh at your trauma and your pain because you're speaking up, being a truth at the end of the day. How they said that you're delusional, crazy, slow, stupid, and retarded when you're speaking up for yourself in the most healthiest way. You know, until their household, they understand them. They're like, hold on 1 second. You actually make sense even on your rainy day, neighbor. How folks say they got your back against the wall because they gang stalking you with different folks with different tax brackets. They're trying to bring harm towards you. They trying to rob you mentally, spiritually, financially, even project spell towards you, or even send you the evil eye or a hate group towards you. You didn't have to know anybody at the end of the day for someone to project on you. They say, where's your God at now? When they hack your devices, your accounts, your emails, and as soon as you speak up for yourself, they can't wait to say that you're mentally unwell. How this type of stuff actually happens. You know, gang stalking is real to your household, and you're not doing it for likes and views and clout chasing or fame. Always be yourself with no intentions. I don't play with magic. I don't play with spell work. I don't play with any spiritual stuff at the end of the day when it comes to kicking my neighbor down, besides being a truth teller. You know, individuals would take your kindness or weakness and hate you because you was willing to speak up for yourself. The last person wasn't able to speak up for themselves. But I am. And I don't live in fear, regardless if you're trying to rob me mentally, spiritually, financially, or even make me homeless. And I say that respectfully. Because regardless to what tax bracket or regardless to what zip code, continent, or whatever the case may be, I do not live in fear. They say God not real. When you're real at the end of the day, you're truly rare. And you're mad and you're worthy. Never give up on yourself, and I say respectfully. Regardless to where you are in your healing journey or your spiritual journey at the end of the day. We all not the same, dibbling down with sport. And especially at the end of the day, we all ain't haters. Regardless of our culture, our religion, our sexual orientation, disability, or age. We all don't look at our neighbor like competition. If someone is truly not for you, we keep it pushing. Hello. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect. And I would never hurt myself regardless to who has me shadow banned, or who's gang stalking me, and I say it respectfully, or who's trying to pay me out to be somebody I'm truly not at the end of the day, or who's trying to use my voice to interpret it a different way. And I say that respectfully. I would never hurt myself or my peers around me or my elderlies. And I say that respectfully. The elders. Ever tried on me. Have a safe year, day, evening, week, weekend. You matter and you are worthy. It's currently 10:55 p.m. Misunderstood in love by you, far from a hater. What about you? Misunderstood in love and judge. Misunderstood in love and judge. Yeah, I'm not a hater, neighbor, neighbor, neighbor. Stop the violence in the community. Stop the violence in the community. Peace and respect, your neighbors. Not about you. Better on them, you like. Y'all don't go never on them, you like. When it comes to my creativity, I work alone. And I don't do third-party conversations when it comes to my creativity. And I say it respectfully. Individuals will act like they had a conversation with you at the end of the day. Individuals will act like they know you when they don't. Just to rob you from because someone wants to show up for you. They want to rob you from someone trying to love you. They want to rob you because they want people to see you in a different light. You ain't got to know them at the end of the day. It'd be the train of thought for me. I would never hurt myself. Always be yourself, no intentions. I'm far from a hate. It'd be the train of thought for me. Loving yourself is not a crime. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect. And when it comes to my creativity, I work alone. It's no third party. I understand respectfully. Always be yourself. I work with my Heavenly Mother, my Heavenly Father, God, and I say respectfully, I don't wish the devil good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. Loving yourself is not a crime. I'm still healing from a hate crime that was done to me. I would never hurt myself, and I say it respectfully. You don't have to know someone at the end of the day for someone to send spell work towards you. You don't have to do anything to someone for someone to project spell work towards you. Because people pick and choose who they want to bully at the end of the day. My content is not for everyone. Always be yourself. Let the vines have a good day. Now, the channel, always be yourself. Don't miss it. Gotta go.